If you'd like more content, head over to my website, faithfullygrowing.com, for a link to 25 of my most popular guided IFS meditations. Welcome to another episode of IFS Meditations and Insights, a podcast exploring personal growth through the lens of internal family systems. I'm Tim Fortescue, your guide on this journey, an IFS-trained practitioner dedicated to nurturing spiritual wholeness and healing. In this compassionate space, we delve into self-discovery, uncovering inner wisdom. When we embrace all parts of ourselves with love, we can better receive divine love and extend it to others. My hope is that what I discuss here will illuminate your path, bringing you inner peace and a deeper connection to the sacred. Together, we'll learn how IFS gently transforms our relationship with ourselves and the world. So settle in, open your heart and mind, and let's dive into another episode. In today's meditation, we're going to check in with our parts using the Enneagram as a framework. And so as we go through the meditation today, it may be helpful to be aware of your primary Enneagram type, as it may be indicative of how your system operates and can give you a little more insight. And so briefly, let me tell you about each type. Number one is the reformer. These reformers can tend to be concerned with personal perfection, focus on perfecting intimate relationships, and are driven by a sense of duty. Enneagram 2, the helper, cares for others by providing practical support and meeting basic needs, seeks deep, intimate connections. Twos are driven by a desire to be helpful and supportive within the broader community. Type 3, the achiever, focuses on personal success, emphasizes personal relationships, and tend to be driven by a desire for recognition and achievement. Type 4, the individualist, focuses on creating a unique, comfortable environment and may withdraw to protect their identity, emphasizes intense individual connections, and 4s are driven by a desire for identity and individuality within a larger context. Type 5, the investigator. The Type 5 investigator tends to be concerned with personal security and may withdraw to conserve energy, emphasize intense one-on-one connections, and 5s tend to be driven by a desire for more knowledge and for competence. Type 6, the loyalist. Type 6s focus on personal safety and preparedness, emphasizes loyalty and security in personal relationships, and they're driven by a desire for safety and support within a larger social structure. Type 7, the enthusiast, seeks pleasure and distraction to avoid pain and discomfort, emphasizes intense one-on-one connections, and may seek exciting novel experiences in relationships. And 7s tend to be driven by a desire for social engagement and exploration within a group or community. Type 8, the challenger. Type 8s are focused on personal power and strength, emphasize intensity and passion in personal relationships, and they're driven by a desire for justice, protection, and leadership within a larger social context. And then finally, the Type 9, the peacemaker, seeks comfort and routine to maintain inner peace and avoid conflict, emphasizes harmony and connection in personal relationships, and they're driven by a desire for unity, harmony, and peace within a larger social structure. And so be aware of these 9 personality types and the parts that may come up around them as I lead you in the meditation. So let's begin the meditation. Begin by bringing your attention to your breath. Inhale deeply through your nose, allowing your abdomen to expand. And exhale slowly through your mouth, releasing any tension. Repeat this for a few breaths at your own pace until you begin to feel more centered. As you settle into the meditation, let your system know that there's no agenda. We're just going to take some time and be curious today. We're not going to try and push parts to do something they don't want to know or do or share, but we do want to get to know them. See if you can set an intention just to be compassionate and curious. And let those parts that may have some resistance to that know that they're welcome too. But if they could soften back for a bit and allow us to get curious about some of the other parts that may not get as much of a voice, they may be interested in seeing and knowing and being curious with us too in what they find. It may be helpful to imagine a peace and safe environment. The space is welcoming to all aspects of yourself, free from judgment. Just see what parts you're noticing. Maybe you resonated with those parts that may come up around the reformer. Concerned with personal perfection, driven by a sense of duty, searches for perfection in relationships. Or maybe there's some parts that come up around type 2, the helper. Caring for others by providing practical support and meeting basic needs. Seeking deep, intimate connections. Really focused on those one-on-one significant relationships. Maybe there are parts that come up that are driven by a desire to be helpful and supportive within the broader community. Maybe there are parts that come up around type 3, the achiever, focusing on personal success, career advancement, maintaining a positive image. Striving to be attractive and successful. Wanting recognition for the things that these parts do. Type 4, the individualist. Focusing on creating a unique, comfortable environment. May tend to withdraw to protect identity. Driven by a desire for being known. And individuality within a broader social context. Just notice the parts that are coming up around these as we move forward. And maybe you have enough parts and just kind of sit and be with them. But maybe there's some parts that resonate with the Enneagram type 5, the investigator. Concerned with personal security, really seeking one-on-one connections, focused on personal relationships, a drive for a desire for knowledge and competence. Or maybe there's some things that come up around the type 6, the loyalist, focused on personal safety and preparedness, emphasizes loyalty and security and personal relationship, maybe even displaying a fear of abandonment. Or type 7, the enthusiast, seeking pleasure and distraction to avoid pain and discomfort. Maybe some firefighters jumping in here to numb. Be aware of that. Maybe parts that are driven by a desire for social engagement, variety, exploration within a group or community. Maybe they're parts that come up around the type 8, the challenger, focused on personal power, strength, control. And remember, there are no bad parts here. They're all doing the best they can to bring us gifts. Maybe you have parts that are driven by a desire for justice, protection, leadership within a larger social context. Maybe they're parts that come up around a 9, the peacemaker, seeking comfort and routine to maintain inner peace and to avoid conflict, desire for unity, in the larger community and the world. Just take a minute and be with your parts. See what you're noticing. Those thoughts, feelings, actions, impulses. And if there's one part that may be up more than others and need a voice, see what that part wants to share. Or maybe there are multiple parts. We don't have to single one part out here. But what has this insight stimulated with those parts coming up? What do they need? What do they want to share? Maybe just imagine going around to each one, or letting those that want to share have a voice. You can even encourage collaboration among the different parts. See if they can imagine working together and sharing wisdom, finding common ground. They're really a part of this inner team. They bring gifts, but they don't have to go it alone. Know that I encourage you to pause this recording if you need more time than I allow here. What do you want to share with your inner team and system and the parts that are around right now? May be helpful to let your parts know who you are. You may not be the same person that they think you are. Often they think we're younger. Often they're younger. Spend a little time updating, letting them know who you are today. How's your internal family and system responding? See if there's anything else before we begin to wrap up for today. And just thank your parts for as much or as little as they shared. And if one shared more than the other, maybe it makes sense to thank each one, but just acknowledge their courage. See if you can extend them some of that curiosity and compassion. See if they can take that in. If they have some resistance, that's okay too. But let them know that you're not going to forget about them. If they've enjoyed this, you can spend more time together. Maybe let them know when. Then when it feels right, you can slowly bring your awareness back to your breath in the present moment. It may be helpful to stretch and wiggle your fingers and toes, gradually returning to full awareness. When you're ready, you can open your eyes if they were closed. And you can continue about what you're doing. But thanks so much for joining me for this meditation. Continue to stay curious if you can and be gentle. And just know that we have many parts that may associate with different personality types. And be aware that we may identify as a system with one more than the other. And it can help us just bring that inner harmony and peace that we're looking for if we can just stay in a place of wanting to understand and care. So thanks again for joining me for this meditation. Take care. Well, that wraps up another episode of IFS Meditations and Insights. If you would like to know more about your Enneagram type, send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com, and I'll send you a brief assessment that I found helpful, and it may be helpful for you. I hope you found what I shared today helpful. If you did, I'd really appreciate if you'd share it with anyone else who you think might benefit. Additionally, please leave a positive review. This helps new listeners find the podcast. And if you want more wisdom and meditations, head over to my website, blog.faithfullygrowing.com. And there you can find a categorized list of the meditations and insights that I offer, and it's completely free. And finally, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback on the podcast. Feel free to reach out anytime by emailing me at tim@faithfullygrowing.com. Thanks for listening and being a part of this community. Remember to approach yourself and others with compassion. We're all doing the best we can with the tools we have. And I look forward to our next time together. And until then, take good care of yourself. Stay curious if you can. Try to welcome all the parts that you encounter on your journey.